In this video, Gayathri decides to go 1 week without using her phone cause she is severely embarrassed by the fact that her phone screen time averages 8 hours.
So the rules for this challenge are that I'm not allowed to go on social media either from my phone or my laptop for a whole week. I'm allowed to check WhatsApp once a day, but only for like college related things or other important announcements. I'm not allowed to go on OTT platforms like Netflix and Prime alone. But if it's a social event where I'm watching something with my friends for recreational purposes, I'm allowed to do that, but again in moderation. Obviously, I'm not going to do that every single day for the next week. And lastly, I can go on YouTube provided that there's some good reason and a solid justification for it. So it's 4 hours since I started the challenge, and surprise, surprise, but I'm already tempted to break one of the rules, which was not to use YouTube. But I'm going to use it on my laptop, and I forgot that I always watch something when I have lunch. Great start, I know, but I think I'll just allow myself to watch one YouTube video on my laptop, so I'm still not technically using my phone. So it's almost like 6 o'clock now, and that means it's been 6 minus 10 a.m. so about 8 hours since the challenge began. I did cheat a little bit again. I saw one more YouTube video which was like an investment related video. So I could kind of argue that that's educational and it's okay. But if you're being very honest, like it's not really educational, like that's not my field of study. So I did that. I'm really bored. I don't think I've been this bored in a really long time. So as you guys can tell, I made pasta. I'm just gonna eat it. That's really good. My like secret tip for making pasta is like when you make red sauce pasta, add a little bit of milk. Some people may not like it, but like I feel like it makes it so good. Apparently it is like already a thing. It's called pink sauce pasta, but like when I did it the first time, I thought like I made it. Stupid me, I know, but I only ever make pasta like this now.
Haven't been away that long, came back, everything's different.
So I just finished watching a Netflix special with my friend, and I'm about to sleep now. Day one was pretty easy. Actually, I didn't have any urge to go on Twitter or Instagram, but I did have to fight the urge to go on YouTube, and that was pretty hard. But apart from that, it was not that difficult. So it is day two, and the first thing that I observed was how difficult it was to wake up without my phone. I usually wake up and then I go on Instagram or Twitter, and like the brightness from that screen kind of wakes me up. But today I woke up and I was just like not in the mood to really wake up, and I just kept like lying down in bed for another hour. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because with my phone I usually wake up by like 6:37, but today I woke up at 8 o'clock simply because I didn't have my phone. So it's almost the end of day two, and I didn't get to film a lot today, but I realized that there are some things that I still do need my phone for, which obviously I couldn't use it today. One of them being editing. I usually edit all of my videos on my phone, but today I started learning DaVinci Resolve so that I could edit on my laptop, which is probably a good thing because I've been putting this off for a while. Another thing is that I usually use Duolingo on my phone, and I mean I can still use other resources from my laptop, but I don't have my progress saved. So that was another thing that I couldn't do. I pretty much spent the day learning DaVinci Resolve and editing some of the earlier clips from this video. And then I took a nap, and it was my brother's graduation, so I didn't really get to do a lot today. So obviously I didn't have any time to miss using my phone either. So it's like 11 a.m. on day 3, and I can't believe I did this, but I made mug cake, the quarantine mug cakes that we all did last year. I mean, if I make like dalgona coffee now, it'll literally be like as if I just transported myself back to like May 2020 or April 2020. And yeah, I clearly don't remember how to make it, because like I made a freaking mess out of it, but I'm just gonna try it. It's good. Your standard mug cake, I mean, nothing special. It just looks kind of disgusting because it all like spilled over. The rest of my day was pretty normal. I watched a Skillshare class by Nathaniel Drew, after which I gave a test where I barely knew any of the answers. I watched yet another video on how to script for short films instead of just taking a fucking pen and paper and starting to write one myself. I ate spicy noodles which tasted really well, but my stomach did not thank me later for that. I watched the IPL match for a while, which was pretty boring because none of my favorite teams were playing, and that was all I did that day. So by the time I got to day 4, I was pretty bored of filming the same thing again and again. So I thought I'd just put this time lapse of me painting. I hadn't painted on physical medium in a very long time. I usually paint on my iPad. But since I was trying to stay away from screens as much as possible, I thought instead of drawing on my iPad, I'll take my old sketchbook out and draw something instead. And honestly, it felt so good to draw on paper again. I don't know why, but it just feels so much better and so much more satisfying to finish a drawing on paper than it does on the iPad. And yeah, doing this made me realize that maybe I want to go back to drawing and sketchbooks. I always loved it back in like 10th and 11th grade. And yeah, this one like single drawing or painting literally turned the entire day around. It was a pretty boring and shitty day until then, but this just made me really happy. So it is the last day of this challenge, and I was out for most of today, and so obviously I didn't get to use my phone a lot, but I did break a few rules today. One being I had to use my phone to book a doctor's appointment, and then I also had to use Uber, so had to use my phone for that as well. And if I'm being completely honest, there were days that I used YouTube a little bit more than I should have, but as far as the social media aspect is concerned, I had no urge to go back on Instagram or Twitter. And even right now, I'm completely okay being away from Instagram and Twitter. I think the main reason why I even did this challenge is because I wanted to reduce my screen time, and the primary factors that contributed to it were Instagram and Twitter. So, in that aspect, I think it was successful. But I also realized that going without your phone for a long time is pretty impossible. Luckily for me, I had to stay home for most of this week. But if you are someone who goes out a lot, it will be difficult because it's not safe to go out without your phone. And you will need it for things like Uber or Google Maps or a lot of other things as well. And yesterday night, I had to GPay a friend, and that's when I realized we literally use our phones for every single thing. So staying away from it is not practical, at least not for a very long time, but we can limit how much time we spend on it. And I think I might not do a full-fledged not using my phone for a week, but I would like to continue not using my phone for a few hours a day so that I can focus my energy and attention somewhere else. Something that I did realize this week is that I was doing things a lot slower, whether it was cooking or eating or even painting yesterday. I tend to do things very quickly, and this whole week I actually enjoyed all the little things I did, even if they were boring. So that was really nice. And I usually feel pretty shitty about myself in the night because I spend like 6 to 8 hours on my phone, and then by the time the day is done, I wouldn't have really achieved anything. But this week, even on days I wasn't very productive, I still felt really good about myself. So that's another thing that I really liked about this challenge. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.